how far we've come. We've gotten to this point. It is Game 3 of the NLL Finals, and we're going to talk about it right here on this show. You are watching the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planet. I am your host, Michael Carvelis, here in Guyton, Georgia, on Friday, May 23rd, 2025. I am live on 12 Sports via Twitter/X and YouTube. Reminder, subscribe to the 12 Sports YouTube channel for other great shows and live sports. On today's awesome show, I'll first get into the storylines for Game 3 of the NLL Finals. Then we'll bring in Pat Gregoire, our season-long betting analyst. And from Coolbeck, Canada, of course, he'll be broadcasting the game. And, of course, we'll get to our crew's best bets. We cannot wait to talk about it with you here. We want to first let you know this show is presented by the ticketing platform at 12ouncesports.com. Head over to 12ozsports.com. Click the tickets tab, or if you're on mobile, use the 3 menu things at the top and click tickets from there. And there you can search for your favorite sports team, not just from the NLL, but Game 3 Finals tickets are sold out everywhere else. 12onsports.com/tickets has got you covered. They also have stuff like your favorite music artist concerts and, of course, Broadway and theater if you're into that kind of thing. So go there, again, 12onsports.com/tickets or 12ozsports.com and click the tickets tab. Alrighty, let's get into it. Let's talk Game 3 between the Saskatchewan Rush and the Buffalo Bandits. Now, let's talk about first how we got here, okay? So Game 1, well, we can do the whole playoff thing, but Game 1 coming in, Saskatchewan had just, by the skin of their teeth, swept Halifax. Now, obviously, they beat Halifax good in Game 1. Game 2, they had a Cinderella story at the end of that game to go in to the finals. Remember when they were at home and that was the first of a possible 2 games at home, even though they were the higher seed. Remember that whole scenario? Well, then, of course, Mike Messenger dove on the floor in a play that we did not see live. Matt Hossack scored, and then Austin Shanks continues his heroic run. Buffalo had just swept Vancouver, and a lot of people thought that Vancouver was the best team remaining besides Buffalo. And then came the Rush, like I said, in the finals. So we get to Game 1, and Saskatchewan jumps out to a 2-0 lead. It's like, oh, wow, like that's a flash in the pan, right? Well, they led for a lot of most of the first half. Then the second half, in the third quarter, Dane Smith, who, again, had scored just 32 goals this season. I guess some people labeled him overrated, according to Scott Loeffel. I keep poking fun at that. But he takes over, scores 2 or 3 goals in the third quarter alone. Then the entire fourth quarter, there is no goals. It is 11-10 until Dane Smith throws a full arena pass. It deflects off of Kyle Buchanan, who's always in the right place at the right time, literally. It goes into the net. You have an empty netter, 12-10. Brutal cover, by the way, of the 1.5 there. But we stay under 22.5 for the other betting analysis of that game. But like I said, like Saskatchewan had hung around, so they go back home. Buffalo has a chance to sweep yet another finals. They're on the cusp of a three-peat. And what does Saskatchewan do? This time they jump out to a 3-0 lead, something that had not been done in a very super long time. So with that being said, that happens. The Bandits fight back. The Bandits even take the lead. But it was all for naught as the Rush took over in the fourth quarter. The Rush won the game 11-10 by the skin of their teeth. Myself and even Teddy Jenner had said it's a race to 11 in these NLL Finals. But something peculiar has happened, as I mentioned briefly earlier this week, in the finals so far. Josh Byrne has not looked himself. He has not been that way since the San Diego game weeks ago. And is he due for a breakout game? He scored a goal in each game, but it's not enough. It's just not Josh Byrne, a guy who can take over games by scoring hat tricks at the drop of a hat. Pun intended. I don't know if pun was intended there. Robert Church, who again, I say this before and I'll say it again, Derek Keenan brought this to our attention. I don't know if anyone thought, because of how competitive the Rush had been, did anyone think that Robert Church had not scored a goal yet? Well, the fact is he hasn't. A guy who I had been on the outspoken about saying, had he played the full season, he could be the Rush player in MVP conversation. So now we get to this. Game 3, just over 24 hours from now, 4:30 Eastern, ESPN2. If I'm not mistaken, I should really pay more attention to this. College lacrosse is also going on in the Final Four. Something named CJ Kirst is out there playing for Cornell. And at 4:30, it all comes together with the National Lacrosse League season ending officially. There are no games after this. There are no chances to get better. It's now or never. It's put up or shut up. It's the championship. Game 3. It has been quite the season of not just flat-out parody due to the folding of our good friends at Panther City. May they rest in piss. Some of the ownership group, not the team. The ownership group needs to rest in piss because they're all about basketball. Good for them. Folks, it comes down to this. The storylines this year, again, from the on-the-field perspective of just parody and even just the weird, I've called out a few things this year. We ain't going to talk about it anymore. Next week will be a season recap. There's nothing left. I said yesterday, and we will bring in Pat Gregoire for betting analysis in 5 or so minutes from now. But make no mistake, I said the over 21.5 should hit, and that's at plus 100 on FanDuel. I do believe Robert Church is going to have at least 2 goals in this game. I'll call it now. I don't know if I go as far as a hat trick, but 2 goals, yeah. Josh Byrne, I believe, will also have 2 goals. And I believe this could be a classic. It's funny how I've come to this point. Remember, I said it before, for 90% of the season, I have told people this Buffalo Bandits roster is just stupid. It is silly. It is unfair to most teams in the league. Saskatchewan doesn't care. There is one team that is matched up so well with Buffalo. And again, it's so funny that Robert Church has not scored in this finals because he didn't even play in the regular season matchup in Saskatchewan. Remember that one? Right after it was the Bandits had just beaten the Seals after losing to the Seals. They walk into Saskatchewan. Robert Church is suddenly not there because of a birth of a child. Good for Robert Church. It's like Buffalo only won that game by 1 goal. That was a dogfight. This transition of the Rush is incredible. And Cooper Perkins said it when the Seals played the Bandits so well in the regular season. Cooper Perkins came on this show like a week or 2 later, host of NLL Box Out with Mackie and Coop. He also is the play-by-play voice of the Seals. Did analytics last year. Cooper Perkins does a really great job. Cooper Perkins came on this show and said, hey, those young transition guys gave Buffalo fits. Saskatchewan has been so good all year with giving guys fits in transition. I said before the series started, not just transition, success in transition was a key. One of the sleepers for Finals MVP for me, even though he probably won't win it, is a guy who actually said no one's coming out of the stands in Banditland to set picks on us. His name is Jake Boudreau. So you have that material out there. You have that guy who, again, has had a really phenomenal finals. Jake Naso's controlled the dot like I thought he would. The shots on goal favored Saskatchewan in game 2. The goalies have been electric. Dane Smith has been amazing. Josh Byrne and Robert Church are due to break out. 2 amazing coaches, well, 3 amazing coaches, 2 great GMs. The list goes on and on. This thing is set up for just a big batch of success. Like, remember that guy on Ratatouille when he tries like that final meal is like just all hits him in the face? That's what we got here, a perfect recipe. I came up with that on the fly. I love that, by the way. I'm happy for that. But it's like it just hits you. It's everything you want in a game. And again, I think it's going to go over 21.5. One of our other members of this crew does not think that. So that should be a fun little wrinkle in this whole thing. Who do you think wins it? Is it Saskatchewan? Do they spoil the party? Does Buffalo go like, 2-3 on this finals run, which would be really a story no one's talking about yet. And of course, I'll be able to do that. Or will they three-peat? Will they do something so many people have tried? The Miami Heat couldn't do it. The Golden State Warriors couldn't do it. The Chiefs couldn't do it. Can the Buffalo Bandits of all sports cities, can they be part of three-peat history? And don't even get me started on Matt Vince solidifying the GOAT case. Kai the goalie said Saskatchewan Rush when it. Listen, Kai, I'm happy you said that, but we'll have to see. I'm going to make my prediction at the end, and I'll be honest, I'm still almost undecided. As we'll see for my best bets, but whatever. We come back, let that stew on your brain. We're going to talk to a friend of ours, Pat Gregoire. This might be his final time on the season, especially talking betting NLL games. One of the boys is behind the game this weekend, again within 24 hours. We'll talk to him next. You're watching Daily Dive. Don't go anywhere. I know you won't.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pods Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
For a potential For a potential final time this season, it is time for Pat Gregoire.
Ovation. People are cheering because, oh, great, we don't have to listen to this guy anymore.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, I teased it. This might be your final time on the season. Next Friday, of course, is still up in the air, I'm sure. I'm going to try to have another big event, but just for the record, this is your last time. We appreciate what you've done this year, sir.
Well, appreciate you having me on each and every week, or close to each and every week. It's been a lot of fun. Been love chatting all things storylines, but obviously honing things in here for betting. So, I mean, if folks are looking to scratch their lacrosse betting itch, continue, keep going to coolbet.com. We've got WLA game odds, NCAA finals are going on right now. We've got odds up for that. We'll have odds up for the finals on Monday. We'll have some Man Cup and President's Cup odds as well. So just continue to prove that if you're a lacrosse bettor, you got to head to coolbet.com.
I love that. Correct me if I'm wrong since you went there. Is it the Salmon Bellies who have like a really, I don't want to say stacked, but they have a pretty good NLL filled roster, right?
It's pretty much an arms race right now in the WLA between Victoria and New Westminster, UES. The Salmon Bellies and the Shamrocks. And hey, everyone was saying, well, Six Nations is just going to walk to another Man Cup victory. They lost to Peterborough last night. So, yeah, 7-6 final. Nick Rose in his debut with the Lakers.
Wow.
Was fantastic. So, not so fast. I think, yes, of course, the heavy favorites. There's a reason why they were, I think they were like plus 110 to win the Man Cup for a good reason. But Peterborough's got something to say. That's a pretty good roster as well.
Shout out Ann Taylor. Also, shout out to Nick Rose, who's not the only person who went to the Lakers this year in a big trade. Obviously, Luka did that, but Nick Rose falls in his footsteps. No one's made that joke out. I'm kidding. They probably have. So I was just, I noticed the Salmon Bellies were like tweeting out like Dixon, which I think is Hayden, not Curtis, right?
Hayden Dixon, but they got a bunch of trades.
A lot of players, though.
Ty Kurtz is on his way out from the East.
Pace, right?
So Pace's playing there. I believe he mentioned that on his podcast. So yeah, both rosters. Victoria's pretty star-studded as well too.
Love it. Game 3 in Buffalo. First of all, sellout for Buffalo. We're back. We're better than ever. How are you feeling? First of all, you and Teddy, I'm sure, have had so much fun with these games. It was exactly a race to 11. Let me get your take, first of all, on the first two games and what you've seen, because wow.
It's been a chess match on crack, man. It's been unbelievable. It's been so much fun to call. It's been so much fun to call with Teddy and Ashley. But I say a chess match on crack because, one, the coaches, just like the in-game adjustments have been fantastic. We've seen time and time again, one team does something, the other team then makes its next move. And in game 2, sorry, I can't talk about game 2 without game 1. Game 1, Buffalo doesn't give up a single transition goal. Game 2, Saskatchewan gets a little riskier and Buffalo gets a little sloppier in their changes. Just even from a standpoint from Buffalo, like both coaches, like game 1, Buffalo wins, but Buffalo felt like they actually didn't play that great. And Saskatchewan felt like they probably should have won. Flip side, Saskatchewan ends up winning in game 2. Saskatchewan said, well, we actually felt like, that wasn't our best game, but we came out and found a way. And Buffalo felt like they felt a little more confident in game 2. So I think game 3 is going to be poised for just an unbelievable game. I'm just having such a hard time figuring out who's got the edge, which I know I'm sure we'll get to in a bit here. But it's been everything that it's been poised up to, a heavyweight bout. Both teams have thrown knockout punches. We'll see who's got their hands raised up by the referee when this thing's done.
I respect Kai the goalie here too, because I didn't know crackheads played chess either. That would be really fun to watch, by the way.
I didn't say. Anyways, Kai kills me, man. What a beauty.
He's amazing. I'm glad you mentioned the edge, because that was literally my next question. Was I had a topic called finals edge, like the mental edge. It feels to me, because everyone kind of walked in here thinking it was Vancouver, Buffalo, or that's it. Saskatchewan still was not getting that respect, I feel like, even from myself, that it deserved. And then the first game and the second game, they've gone out to 2-0 and 3-0 leads. That has to make Buffalo like, man, or do they have kind of our number, or we've not played our game like they? Saskatchewan has to be feeling really good mentally, even if they didn't play a good game too, right?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, if you just took the first 5 minutes from both games, Sask is leading 5-0, which is pretty crazy to think. And I think it's going to be very important that they get out to that hot start.
I agree.
In game 3 well. take away that crowd, try to silence them. But with that being said, though, Mike, like we've seen also Buffalo bounce back and eliminate that lead pretty quickly. So of course it starts important, but it's not the be end all. Like I think if we see Sask jump out quickly, if we see Buffalo jump out quickly, that doesn't mean this thing is over. In terms of the mental edge, I think you could make an argument for either way. I kind of like the way that you're saying. You could also like, I don't want to say Saskatchewan doesn't care to win, because of course they care to win. You can hear it. This team is desperate to win a championship. They're desperate to bring a championship back. They keep saying we will be, bound together as champions forever with a win here. But with that being said, like, no one expected them to be here except for those guys in the locker room. No one at the start of the year pegged them. Sure, they finished as the number 2 seed, but you said it earlier in the program. Despite being them the number 2 seed, everyone was saying, well, it's Vancouver or Buffalo. Whoever wins this is going to win the championship. They're playing with house money, kind of. They're a little bit ahead of schedule here. And that's dangerous. Even Austin Shanks said in, I think it's game 2 post-game availability, he said, we're young and, I hate to say it, but a little dumb. And that's not a bad thing. We got a lot of guys that are here that don't know any better. They don't know how big this is. And they haven't been in this situation. And I think you could say that might be a good thing. On the flip side with Buffalo, I think in terms of mental edge, they've been here 5 times before. They've been on both sides of the coin. They've tasted the sweet, nectars of victory, but they've also got that bitter taste of defeat in their mouth. So they know, they've been there. And I think the bitterness has fueled them to be champions back to back. Matt Vince is the only goaltender to go back to back to back. There's nothing more he wants to do than do it again. He wants to be the only player to do it with both franchises. Dane Smith and Josh Byrne want to, etch their names into legacies and legend status and continue to grow that. So they've been here before. They know what it takes. So I have a hard time deciding who has that mental edge.
That's a great point. Like, there's so many flip sides you could take, so many angles. It's interesting you mentioned Matt Vince, because like the guy already is the GOAT. It's like his Michael Jordan, his second three-peat, and with 2 different franchises, it's insane. If he has like anything left in the tank, and I'll put it this way, as we get to our betting now, because I like the over, Pat, I'll put it this way. If Buffalo makes it a point, and it's easier said than done, if they make it a point to not let Rush get going early, my over 21.5 is in tears. We're in shambles.
I agree with you, but I disagree with you with the bet. I'm going with the under, especially at Cool Bet at under 22.
Yeah, Cool Bet. Yep.
I think it's the race to 11 again. I really do. Mm-hmm. I love the way that both these defensive groups play, and they're so different. They are just so vastly different. You have a Buffalo team that loves blocking shots, that dictates where those shots are coming from. I do feel like they got exposed a little bit in game 2 and even parts of game 1 with some of their slower defenders, some of the defenders that should be playing a little bit lower on the
gaps you talked about.
Blocking the shot, the gap control was not great. Slides were a little bit late. I would not be surprised if we see, much more intentional matchups against some of the more athletic guys on the floor. The guys like Zach Mans, the guys like even Clark Walters. I really feel like we're going to see more matchups that way. And I think Buffalo is going to do a much better job of containing those gaps, closing those gaps, and not allowing it to, John Tavares said it, be a shooting gallery at some point. There's a point of packing it in and giving up the shots that Vince wants to see, but you can only do that to a certain point. You still got to get the hands. You still got to close those gaps. And it's difficult for some of the slower guys. And I'm not knocking them, because they still do other great things like blocking shots, like battling for loose balls. That's another thing. They got to clean up the loose ball battles. I think Saskatchewan's dominated the loose balls on the offensive and defensive side of the floor. So, just all things leading it there. Frank Scialano's been outstanding. Matt Vince's been outstanding. I get it. Josh Byrne is due to explode. Ryan Church is due to explode. But even if they do explode, I imagine that means, well, maybe Ian McKay doesn't get as many touches. I'd imagine then that means Austin Shanks doesn't get as many looks as well. So I'm going to stick to my gut. It's worked for the 2 first games. And I think as the series progresses, The defenses get a little more comfortable. The goaltenders get a little more comfortable, and I kind of give the advantage to them. And as the old adage goes, defense wins championships. I think that's the case here as well.
Yeah, so which one do we choose?
I know. It's a good problem to have.
Is that going to be your best bet for this game that you're going to give us?
It will be. It will be my best bet because I'll be quite frank. If you're going to bet Saskatchewan plus 1.5, I think you might as well just take the money line. And I don't really feel all that comfortable taking Saskatchewan to go into Buffalo and win here. I'm sorry. I just don't. Not saying that I don't think they can win, because I think there's a game script where they can go in and win. I believe it. I mean, we're game 3 for a reason. We've seen it. You could argue that with a couple of lulls here and there in game 1, you could argue that maybe the series should be over and Saskatchewan should have won. This is just such a close series. So I'm not touching that, because also we've seen, and Steve Bermel talked on Mackey and Cooper's podcast today. And he said the game script, the game flow that he envisions if Buffalo comes out, it's going to be like what we saw in the previous 2 championships, them running away with it, them going into, defending home floor, setting the tone defensively, setting the tone with Matt Vince, and the big guns, the offensive guys coming out and scoring and being unrelenting and not giving that up. So that's also, he brings up a great point. We saw it against Colorado when they won their first championship with this group, and then we saw it last year with Albany. So, yeah, not going to do that in minus 175. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I will look to see what things look like when the player props are up. I'm sure that those will be up early tomorrow morning. I do agree with you. I think depending on what the number looks like, a Burn, a Church, those guys got to be due to score a big goal, don't they? Like, I feel like they're just dying to pop off here. So, yeah, I know it's boring. There's only one game to talk about, so the only bet I'm giving out is the under 22.
Who wins the Man Cup, though?
Who wins the Man Cup? The odds are down right now, but I think, as much as I said, Peterborough's got something to say. Six Nations is probably your best bet.
I made a mean tweet earlier talking about like they just bought they're trying to buy championships again. It's whatever.
Hey, you're not the only one who's saying that. So it is definitely a discussion that is being had in the lacrosse world. On the note here, at CoolBet, an exclusive boosted parlay in our lobby right now. It's called the Empire State of Mind. Cornell to beat Penn State, Syracuse to beat Maryland, and then Buffalo to beat Saskatchewan. That's all on the money line, plus 384 boosted all the way up to 442. So if you're looking for
take my money,
take my money. Yeah, just like your segment yesterday. I really like it. I know we're not here to talk college lacrosse, but Cornell, best team from start to finish this year. I like that there. Syracuse is littered with future NLL talent. Joey Spallina, Trey Deer, Owen Hiltz, Sam English. So, yes, I'm a little bit biased there. Sam English going to the Toronto Rock. Yeah, he is on that team. So, if you are a lacrosse fan, especially south of the border, I don't think we get the games up here legally, at least. You didn't hear me, FBI. Well, I'm going to be in the States anyways tomorrow anyway, so I'm going to be able to watch it anyways. But the Cornell Penn State game goes, then it's the NLL game, and then I believe the nightcap is that Syracuse Maryland game. So if you are a box lacrosse fan, tune in especially to Maryland Syracuse because everyone's talking about CJ Kirst. Absolutely, the guy's going to be a stud in the NLL. Syracuse has at least, I would say, 4 or 5 future first rounders on that roster.
Ooh-wee. By the way, I want to let you know it's a stake here. Thank you for that. Full disclosure, I've been begging Leroy to give us some college lacrosse bets because he watches it way more than I do. He hasn't done it. It's okay though. We'll forgive him next year for sure.
Hey, Leroy, that's fine. I'll give it out here. Syracuse money line plus 120 at CoolBet. If you're feeling a little bit like a coward, plus 1.5 minus 118 right now. So go with the orange. Let's be. Hey, it's championship weekend. Let's be brave. Let's go plus 120 on the money line.
Like Tyrese Halliburton over here. I do want to mention this because remember last week on the show, it's great. I might go 7-0 on the bets that I gave.
Ooh.
I got Bandit's money line in game 1, ring-a-ding. I got under 22.5. Sweat me up, man. I got over 2.5 games. Thank you, Saskatchewan. Bids to win the series is pending. Matt Dinsmore saves is leading. Ian McKay more points than Zach Mans. Cal Buchanan more goals than Clark Walter. Pat, come on,
good.
And the under, come on, man.
It's looking good, Mike. It's looking good. 7-0 would be a historic run. Though I know everyone's talking about the potential dynasty of Buffalo. They'll be talking about you, the dynastic run that you went through the NLL Finals. 7-0.
And of course the 2 ladders the captain hit too. But
oh yeah, you boys are hot. It's unfortunate the season's ending. I'm sure all the sports books are very thrilled that the lacrosse season's over.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I'm so glad I caught the screen grab of you, Teddy, and Ashley looking phenomenal, because I didn't realize.
Thank you.
I saw that screen grab. I didn't realize how good that picture was. You guys look phenomenal.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun. It's sad that we only get one game, but I don't think you could ask for a better showcase for the league. I know there's a lot of things that the league, that we like to say that needs to get better. And I will say this, though. Game 3, inside Bandit Land, sold out crowd, the number 1 team against the number 2 team, Saturday afternoon, Memorial Day weekend, right in between, sandwiched between NCAA and lacrosse. I don't think you can get a better setting to show off the best sport in the world. I really don't.
1,000%. And Pat, stay safe out there. Tell Teddy and Ashley what's up. And you guys have a call and have fun, dude.
I think it's going to be pretty easy. Appreciate it. And thank you for having me on each and every week. I was hoping my merch was going to be ready. It has not arrived yet. It has not arrived. Don't worry. As soon as it does, we'll do an unboxing. But I was hoping I was going to be ready for the finals. I was going to wear it on my drive down. Proudly wear it on my drive down. But I'm going to have to wait.
One more thing before you go. It's funny you mentioned the merch. Who do you think wins between Joe Rez? Who are you voting for between Joe Rez and Taylor Jensen for our championship?
Well, I'm going to like the NLL votes for my ballots. I'm going to keep that one a surprise.
Oh!
But on the theme of dynasties, I will say I think Joe Rez runs it back and goes back to back.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Money line Joe Rez. Love it. Thank you, Pat.
Thanks, buddy.
Everybody, that was Pat Gregoire, P. Greggy on Twitter /X, P. Greggy22. On Instagram, we appreciate him, Teddy, and Ashley for the work they've done, and Pat coming on a bunch. We need to get Ashley on. That is just brutal that I haven't done that. Forget snubbing Teddy last week. Ashley hasn't come on the show. Whatever, who cares? I care. I'm just saying it was a bad line. Who cares? Everyone cares. All right. We come back to this awesome show. Let's wrap it up with predictions from the crew. Has Leroy finally provided college lacrosse? Spoiler, no, but we'll be right back anyway.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
You need tickets to that next event? We've got them. That's right, tickets.12ozsports.com. Get you to any sporting event, concert, theater event that you can think of. And the promo code 12OZ or ROME gets you an additional discount. Don't feed the massive ticket corporate machine. Go to tickets.12ozsports.com and enjoy the show. America, get back on track with Dust Pods Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thanks so much for tuning in again. Next Friday is our final show of the season. You, of course, are watching Daily Dive, the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talks on the planet. I'm your host, Michael Carvelis, here in Guyton, Georgia on this Friday, May 23rd, 2025. It is 4:37 here on the East Coast. We are live on 12 on Sports via Twitter/X and YouTube. Subscribe to the 12 on Sports YouTube channel for other great shows and live sports. Reminder, if you want tickets to the Game 3 or any sporting event, head over to 12ouncesports.com/tickets or go to 12ozsports.com and click the tickets tab. There you can search your favorite team and, of course, your favorite music artist concerts, Broadway theater, etc. All of it in one place for better prices than the big dogs. So here's the thing. Game 3 is tomorrow. It's time to give out some best bets. This should be fun, actually, because I told you guys already that Leroy does not have any college bets. He's had a very busy last few weeks/months. He's the coach of a team. He does other stuff in his personal life. He's a legend. He's got nothing again, which means Leroy will finish, if I'm not mistaken, I'll get it here. Leroy's going to finish with those 0-3. He's going to go 16-16. So if you combine 16-13 season with the playoffs, he's going to go 16-16. Not a big deal, though. And I don't know if we have a chance for championship lacrosse next week, but if we do, I'm sure he'd provide that if he feels comfortable enough to do so. Next up, we're going to go with the man who hit 2 ladders this year, the man, Captain Patrick. Shout out Max, by the way. Captain, by the way, last week went 0-1. He also has another one pending, the rush to win the series. So do you think the first 2 games moved him at all? He says, screw it, no. He's got the rush money line, plus 175. It's funny because he had rush to win the series at plus 170. If both those hit, holy cow. Rush plus 1.5 against the Bandits. That's at plus 105 in Game 3. He's also got Saskatchewan Buffalo, the game tomorrow, under 21.5. That can be found at minus 120 on DraftKings. So there you go. Again, his betting this season, he's, like I said, 3-7 in the playoffs so far. And he also went for the season, regular season, Patrick went 20-16. So it would be nice if he got at least 1 or 2 of these to finish strong. The man who hit 2 ladders. I believe one of those ladders he wasn't even giving bets with us yet. So listen, we caught the man late. He's still amazing at LCap810picks on Twitter/X. Finally, I'll get into this. My best bets, and again, I went 45-28 this season on regular season on best bets. So far, I'm 8-4 in the postseason with 4 more pending. I already told you on the Pat segment what I had pending. I will say that again. I've got Bandits to win the series at minus 188. A little bit steep. I've got Matt Vince, more saves than Frank Scigliano. I've got Ian McKay, more points than Zach Mans. Kyle Buchanan, more goals than Clark Walter. Those 3 for the series. And, of course, as I said before, I've been leading those categories. And my bet for this week, for this week and for Game 3, I'm going to go over 21.5. Hear me out here why I think it could actually go over no matter what scenario plays out. If Saskatchewan gets out to a big lead early, I'll take it because Buffalo goes on a run, etc. Robert Church and Josh Brown get going, we're good. On the other hand, if Buffalo does not, I think the only 2 scenarios in this game is if Saskatchewan gets out to a big lead and basically they're playing the Russian Bandits are having a shootout, or I almost went with the Bandits minus 1.5. I didn't take it, but I do think there's a big scenario. It's a very compelling scenario and a very compelling argument that Buffalo wins this game like 14-9 or 14-8 or 13-9. I feel like they could run away with this thing. And again, 14-8 would be, or 13-9 would be running away with it. And like I said, over 21.5. Let's sneak over. Let's try that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not super confident we hit like 25, but can we hit 22? I think these offenses are good enough. Why not? Defense is great. Matt Vince scares the daylights out of me, but I'll take over 21.5. I do think Bandits win the championship. That is my prediction for the game. I didn't want to go like within, was it -107? It was -184 on FanDuel. Yeah, so I thought that was a little bit too steep for me. I've already got Bandits to win the series at -188. Only thing I consider is -1.5. I just went with the over. So there you go. Thanks again to Pat Gregoire. Thanks again to Leroy and Captain for all they do as well. Thank you for watching once again. Reminder to follow us on our social media at Daily Dive Lax. That's Daily Dive LAX on Twitter/X, and of course Instagram to see reels, which fire up the people. Stories from Leroy on Instagram, updates from the show, hot takes, the Fresh Fits Championship, which will be released at like 7 o'clock tonight. I will finally release those championship poll. And so you can vote on that and see if it's Joe Reziteritz or Taylor Jensen. Also, visit the link tree in our social media bios to visit our merchandise shop or go to dailydivelacks.creator-spring.com. I timed it pretty good again there. We'll see you next week, Monday, same time, same place, 4 o'clock Eastern on 12 Ounce Sports. This has been a presentation of 12 Ounce Sports and Daily Dive. You guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the weekend, stay safe, and we'll wrap it up and recap all next week, leading with our finale on Friday. Have a great one, guys. Bye.
Thanks for watching Daily Dive. See you next time.